So hello guys, welcome back to my channel. I haven't been around for quite a few weeks, but here I'm back, and with two main subjects that we're going to be talking about. I believe the first up is going to be assessing the question of what we call the coalition of the opposition. In other words, why all the opposition parties should gather together in order to kick out the legal or the de facto reigning president. And on the other side, I've got this idea about the I would say the awakening of people registering themselves on the electoral board. And this is a subject that I want to talk about because there have been some few developments, not only at home but all across the world, that I believe is worth mentioning. So I'll be back with you in 2 seconds, just right after the break. Stay with me. The good student is always there.
Aïe, 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 aïe. Oh, où va l'humanité? Aïe, 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 aïe.
So, hey, I'm back. Thanks for tuning in. So, I always want to start by remembering this sentence, I would say, of the former candidate of the Social Democratic Front, Joshua Osei, when asked about if the different opposition side should actually, I would say, join forces within instead of him joining forces with them. He used the sentence that had stuck to my mind, and I don't think I'll ever forget it. He said, it's basically the stream which joins the river, but not the river that follows the stream. In other words, following the recent results of the presidential election, I believe in 2011, whereby the Social Democratic Front came second after the de facto reigning president of the country. So the Social Democratic Front found themselves in a place whereby they assumed they were the legal, I would say, leader of the opposition party. And then as every party was going through his political life, and they were not only, I would say, investing the Cameroonian territory with their own actions, he still believed that despite all these actions that have been carried out by the different opposition party, so based on the election result, they were still, the Social Democratic Front was still the leading party of the opposition. And therefore, when the question of the coalition came about to be discussed with the other party, Joshua Osei, which was then, and I believe is still now, the leader of the party, believed he was the sole leader of what will potentially be called, or be newly called, the coalition of the opposition. But that didn't happen. The reason why I'm saying that is because obviously 2018 result showed us a different map of the political figure in our country, whereby, according to the fraudulent, I would say, all the fake results, I would say, the fake result mentioned by the Constitutional Court, the C is the MCR, or the CRM. Yeah, I think it's the CRM in English. So the CRM came second, and then we have some other parties that are not actually relevant. But the CRM came second, and therefore, according to the de facto results of that fake Constitutional Court, the CRM appears to be the leading, I would say, party in the opposition to basically, the leading party of the opposition, around which the other parties should, let's say, gather in order to join forces and kick out the reigning president, which I believe is just a dictator, which a dictator or no grandpa, who is basically needs some rest. And we're going to do that in 2025. So this is the first statement, is just about to, I would say, situate or pinpoint, like, who should we coalesce with and who should we gather around when it comes to actually leading the country forward into the new election, and therefore have a new regime change. So that's what's happening. But I just want to talk about a few two two new alliances that have come to light. I'm talking about the APC. I know that in French it's called the APC. APC. It's called it's called Alliance pour le Changement. So it's basically, if I try to translate it, it was basically saying like some sort of alliance for change, which is led by someone called Olivier Billet, which I've never heard about, to be honest. Prior to this, it's more like someone who tends to disappear and appears prior to the presidential election. Where was he before that? Where was he in 2018, in 2011? What was he doing? We don't know. It's just it's like a magician pulling out of his hat some sort of, I would say groceries, or I'll say some sort of candies, and he hang it out to anyone else. But still, it's worth talking about it. So the EPC, which is the Alliance for Change, has at its head Olivier Billet. And also, from what I've noticed and from what I've heard, I know that the PCRN of a certain of a certain of a certain leader actually has also joined forces with that candidate. But what is their program actually? And this is the key part of the video. Remember, every single opposition party has in mind to dethrone or to take out the de facto reigning president in order to actually assume, or will say exert the power and lead the country into a new dawn. But no, this is not what the APC wants. The APC wants what we call a transition at the head of the state. And by transition, they mean what? This simply means that this old grandpa who is still at the head of our state, who is probably too old enough to remember that sometimes he was attending the National Assembly. So that coalition called the APC simply wants this very same old grandpa to actually lead the next term, and within which it will be kind of a reduced term of 3 years, and then within that term he's going to have to name people with whom is going to be, the country is going to be functioning. And in that regard, this APC does not want the power, but instead wants to confirm the sitting president as the main man who's going to be transitioning us into what I would call is a new sort of I would say presidency. But it doesn't make sense. So why are they not deciding for themselves to be the people who will bring about the change? And why are they relying on an old grandpa, probably I would say, who's got a bit of dementia, who is still not able to run the current activities or duties of the country? So why are they doing that? So I believe this APC. Oh, this is bad. You see, these are what we call the the unexpected event of the video, and this is what comes with the UK weather. Please don't fall out. So I'm just trying to keep this now. It's stressing me out. But anyway, let me get back to my main point. So basically, these people do not want to be in charge of the country in order to be able to manage the current affairs. But what they want is someone who's been proven like lazy, not good enough, I would say ineffective in handling any single possible case that has come about to his death. So they literally advocating for the continuous failure for another 3 term and potentially another 7 years. So my point on this is basically to say no, because we do not want. I do not. I hope you do not. I hope you want to. We do not want people from nowhere who just tell us to follow. Basically, we are not waiting for any sort of Jesus. That's basically what we don't want. We want people who have been on the ground, who have been working hard, not only to allow Cameroonian to be most aware to be more aware of what's their country is going on, and to decide for their future. That's my part about the APC. But on the other side, we obviously got what I would call the winner, the alliance for the winner. It's called it's called the it's called ATP. I can't find the word in English. It's called the ATP. It's called l'Alliance. Basically, it's some sort of alliance around, I would say, the program of the CRM or the MSC, which is led by obviously one of the greatest intellectual figure that we have in our country, who is Maurice Kamto. So it's all about having people who've got a program, who know what they're gonna do, who have experience of handling difficult cases at the head of the state, and who are actually relevant, who who are who have been able to display integrity, competence in every single thing that they did. And as we can see today, there is some sort of, I would say, of a huge gathering around this alliance to bring about the change that we all want in our country. And this actually brings me to my second point, which is called, why do people actually decide to rally so much on the electoral board? Why is there this sort of I would say, implication of Cameroonians, not only at home but also in the diaspora, so that we get the change that we've all dreamed for? This will be the next step on my second video. Stay with me. I'll be back in a bit.